Hey guys, what's going on? It's Dan Baird with the Rumination Project. Welcome to another episode of Mental Health Mondays. And tonight we are going to be talking about fear. And this is going to be a very good, interesting podcast, a very interesting subject to talk about because we all experience fear almost on a daily basis. And I'm going to introduce my new co-host, Rhino, who is now going to be one of our permanent co-hosts here on the show. Let me Rhino up here. What's going on? You're on.
Hi, everybody. Thanks, Dan, for having me.
And as I said, Rhino's now going to be a permanent co-host now on this show, Mental Health Mondays, as well as the Psychonaut Files on we have every other Thursday. So it's been very interesting to have him on the last 2 weeks and have his opinion on things and his point of view, and it's really helpful.
Thank you, Dan. I appreciate the kind words, buddy. Hi, everybody. Hi, Becca.
But still trying to share out a little bit here. We tag a few more people in here.
Likewise, my friend.
Tagging some people that usually, join us in these.
I tagged out a few beforehand. I don't see them in the thing, but maybe they'll pop in.
Yeah, most of the people have to come on Facebook to get the notification. But I shared over it out to Misfit Island over there, and that page seems to be growing a lot. It has the last week.
Yeah, I seen that. I seen you over there the other day.
Yeah, I made him a little intro video, and
thanks, Becca.
Man,
welcome, everybody.
All those comments.
Hi, Ted.
I didn't get the comments. What's going on, everybody? Becca, Junior, Ted. Yeah, thanks for tagging everybody in. Well, I just had 10 people's name typed out, and then it just deleted it. On Facebook.
Yeah, they're good about that.
Trying to remember all the people that told me to tag them in because some people don't remember. But yeah, we're going to be talking about fear tonight, and also let me talk about that giveaway too. As always, we're going to give away that did last time. We're going to give away some coconut oil tonight, and this is that infused cannabis coconut oil with Ophelia strain. It's actually really, really powerful stuff. So we're going to give out another half cup of that, and I'll ship it to you, and you'll be able to make some edibles or use it as some skin cream. It's already all been activated. So let me put that hashtag up. Let me get the hashtag started so we can have that up here. And we'll choose this one. There we go. And we're going to do Greenleaf Herbal tonight. Let me put that back up here. With the hashtag. There you go. Oh, I made that wrong. Let me hide that again. It's actually Greenleaf Herbal. Greenleaf Herbal. Yep. There we go. Now we can hashtag Greenleaf Herbal, and you'll be entered in that to win that half cup of some coconut oil, some infused coconut oil, and it's probably something. Hey, Becca, what's going on? It's probably something that I'll give away every broadcast. Becca, do you want to come up and join us? Is that what you're saying?
Dan, we lost your phone. Can
you hear me now?
Yep, better.
There's probably sometimes my microphone gets covered up or something, but Let me send you the link there, Becca. I'll send you the link here. You gotta find my Facebook. There we go. And I sent that link to you on your messenger. I think I sent it to the right one. Is there only one Becca's World? I think there is.
Yes.
But yeah, tonight we're going to be talking. What's that?
I was saying hi to William.
Oh, hey, what's going on, William? Anybody wants to join in the hashtag, just hashtag Greenleaf Herbal. You're going to get a half cup of some infused coconut oil. And we'll have that running the whole show, and then we'll give it away at the end. So, and we are live over here at the Rumble as well tonight.
Oh, sorry about that.
Got 3 people watching over there. Thanks for joining, Rumblers.
Right on. Welcome, everybody. We'll be talking about fear today.
Yeah, and I only had 2 videos to show about what is fear, because I think it's interesting and what fear is, because it's kind of involved with anxiety, and it seems to be more something that was better used when we had, when we were hunters and gatherers, to have that, be able to have that fear. And now today's society, fear kind of blocks our ability to be a human, it's really hard to fear and live in this world, especially people who experience social anxiety fear. What's going on, Becca?
Hi, guys.
Someone that doesn't understand how to deal with fear either. Hi, Becca.
Hey, buddy.
I have major and generalized anxiety, so I have some fear is something that I definitely experience sometimes at a hardcore level, where it's like a 10 and feel like the end of the world's coming,
I do that.
Absolutely.
There's some times when things get real loud and I'm out in public and I just leave. I just have to freaking vacate and go home. Yeah. That's all my brain is saying is go home. So.
Hi, Jeremy.
It's weird.
That's a little better.
It's changed over time. My weirdness has changed.
No, it's pretty normal to have social anxiety. That's usually where fear lies, and then you just, I actually have a video tonight that actually kind of explains that. Talks about how people have a social anxiety fear.
Well, just like the girls came and seen me here in West Virginia, and then they took me with them to Virginia to the beach. These are not things I usually do. Okay, like. When I go somewhere, I usually always have my truck, so I have a way to leave if I need to.
Yeah.
I don't fly by the seat of my pants. I plan things out. So I made a big step there. I felt really comfortable and safe with them.
Yeah.
So it was good, man.
I was almost senior class president, believe it or not, in high school. And I looked like this. I had long hair, but I didn't have a beard. But I had long hair. I was still had the stoner look, concert T-shirts, ripped up jeans. But I was real sociable. I didn't have any fear of being around anybody. My dad even told me when I was younger, he said I didn't know a stranger.
Right.
But anymore, the social, it's not the fear of, I don't know. It's the fear of how I'm going to act around people sometimes, because I'm not one to sugarcoat things all the time. And people these days, there's a lot of hate out there in the world. And there's fears of that, going around, not saying I'm going to get in a physical fight or anything, but, I'll tell people about themselves if they need to. If it's addressing me, if it's none of my business, let them be, just move on. But if it's affecting me, then I'm going to say something. Or hurting someone else, I'd stand up for someone else. But it's just there's so much hate in there, and that's the fears I have about going out in the world, or one of them.
Right. I agree. That's how I feel about it. I can't stand to see anything or anyone suffer. I can't stand it. I'm going to try to help them in some way.
Right.
And I always root for the underdog. And I do these things, and then, so I just, there's just certain situations I try to avoid at all costs because it's not good. I know how I'll react.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lady. I'm 52 years old. I have a little bit of dust on the top. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
And I get
Hi,
this.
Jimmy.
What's going on, Jimmy?
Our topic is fear tonight, buddy. Hi, Joe Kelly. Yeah, and it's weird how our fears change as we get older. I had no fear when I was younger, so to
Me
speak.
too, dude.
Right.
But
I
these
mean,
days it's more cautious. Hi, Lou.
right. And, I don't mind being by myself. I really don't. But now I have friends, and there may be adventures.
Right.
And, it was really good stuff, man. So, I don't know. It's just been a big old learning experience about myself here recently. And I don't know. Like, how we were talking, somebody posted something about when you grieve for your body, because now there's things you can't do, or your body, you know what I mean? Like injuries or
Sure.
disabilities and stuff like that, and how you will always grieve for that because there's instances where you want to do something so bad and you just know you are unable to do that anymore, and that's also a fear. Now I'm so afraid I'm going to fall, okay, because I'm off balance all the time.
Yeah.
And so I have to watch what I'm doing. And I used to do, just not even 10 years ago, I was a ridiculous woman. I was fucking everywhere. I would climb my truck like a fucking monkey. Okay? Crazy. It was ridiculous. I couldn't do that to save my ass now. Couldn't even climb in the back of a big truck anymore. I used to monkey climb that shit like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Fear and anxiety is wrapped up a lot together, Lou. I know what you mean, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And that's actually I think that's a video here that I have played. What is fear? It's a 3-minute video. I think I sent it to you earlier, Rhino. Explains it pretty well.
Video.
So I'll play that real quick, and then we can have a little more discussion. Get the
Sounds fantastic.
Sounds good.
I got patience and find a chair.
What is fear? Every one of us has our own relationship to fear. It's part of being human. Some of us have phobias and are afraid of things like spiders or flying. For thousands of years, knowing when to be afraid increased our chances of survival. If we were in a dangerous situation, we might defend ourselves, or we might run away. This is known as the fight or flight response, which we still have to this day. But the modern world has added new fears into the mix. We're still afraid of things like illness, violence, death, and rightfully so. But we're also afraid of other things too, like abandonment, failure, change, or being embarrassed. We know we can't die of embarrassment, but memory is a powerful thing. And our negative memories of the past can affect how we react to the challenges we face every day. These fears are often worst-case scenarios.
Yep.
They're what-if questions we play in our minds like a broken record. Stories we tell ourselves about what could go wrong. And in most cases, these things don't even happen. Try to recognize the way that you're feeling. Being paralyzed by fear won't last forever. And yes, sometimes it feels like the end of the world, but just try to breathe and weather the storm. Remember, there are things you can and cannot control. You don't have control over your environment or other people, but you do have control over your thoughts and feelings, even if you feel like you don't. All too often, we find ourselves just doing the same things over and over again, wishing the situation was different. But change comes from action, even if it's a small step. Try to identify something that you can do right away. Change often leads to a healthier outcome, and if anything, it allows you to gain valuable experience. Otherwise, fear will limit your ability to accomplish your goals. Finally, when it comes to taking a risk you've thought long and hard about, just close your eyes and jump. Do whatever it takes to move forward. Even though you might want to avoid being uncomfortable, the funny thing is that confronting what you're most worried about will make the biggest difference.
And I said something earlier today, kind of on my Facebook page, that I don't remember if you saw what I quoted. There's something.
I don't know if I did or not. I've been running around all day.
Yeah, I basically said,
I
of all
see
the
so
liars
many
in the
things.
world, sometimes the worst are our own fears. Fears can stop us from pursuing what is meaningful and important to us as much as it pretends to keeping us safe from harm. I always say the grass is greener on the other side of fear. By stepping out of your comfort zone and facing your fears, you'll get to a place you've never been. You'll feel more comfortable, confident, and self-assured. A gift and lesson from the universe disguised in fear. And I think that's really true about fears. When you actually go through it and you actually experience it, and then you go on the other side of it, you realize how much you've grown as a person. So I think it's important to
Sometimes
have.
something grows so much in your mind, in our minds,
Yeah.
and it's not real, and then you take that first step, like my tie dyeing. Just doing the first time was a huge fucking deal for me because I
Right.
was so procrastinated about it. Okay. And then it was just like I was on it. I couldn't stop for a few times,
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah,
just, yeah,
it's
that
like it
first
lands
step.
here and becomes fact.
Yeah.
Something that, especially if we hear it from someone that's influential in our lives, or one of the favorite acronym I have for fear is false evidence appearing real. I put it in the comments, and it's just me fabricating a story that hasn't even happened yet. And
Yeah.
I can do that really quick just based on a fear of what might happen.
Yeah, your brains can be wired through
Yeah,
fear.
you're right. Mine is like
Primal,
that primal fear thing is like
yeah,
snake
primal
bait.
fears.
That is a primal, and I would just fucking I lose it. I'm a screaming Mimi, and I'm fucking out.
Yeah.
Okay. I can't. I don't care how big it is, or what color it is, or its eyes, or anything about that motherfucker. I'm out of there, and it's just almost too irrational, and I don't know why. So
It's just over the years, the way we were conditioned to treat fear and to react to fear. It's just
yeah,
nothing that's set, no set circumstance. Well, sometimes, a certain traumatic experience can make us react to fear a different way,
Right.
yeah,
or create a fear.
yes. Now, my number one thing is my personal safety. I turn it into a whole nother thing if I feel threatened.
Yeah.
Like my physical harm or something like that.
Sure.
It's ridiculous because it's not. It's like a switch goes off and I go from the fear to being enraged. Is all I can say it is. And so I try to hold myself very tightly. And like recently, I was able to identify 2 triggers, and it happened boom, boom. And it was like I was already triggered, but I was identifying a trigger. So it was a huge deal for me. Um, and I mean,
That's
one just
important.
absolutely pissed me off so fucking bad, and it was totally irrational.
Yeah.
And, you know, and then when I caught it, I was even more mad because it was so irrational. And and it's one of those things that has to do with time. And time, I've been conditioned on time all my life, all my adult life, with work or, driving truck. And, those are timed things. And so time
Right.
is very like, if I'm going out of my way to do something for somebody, I am giving you my time. This is stuff I can never get back. Don't
Right.
waste my time.
I hear you. Kristen, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry that's, constant for you. And Alyssa, it's got the judgments of, that's one of the other reasons that society kind of gets to me is because of the judgment of others. And she said something about how people see her or her, I can't remember where that comment was. Scared too much about others' opinions. Although I can tell myself all day long what other people think of me is none of my business, it still doesn't ring all the time, and I still have that, thought of people, what do they think of me and care about it. So that's a hard one. That's kind of what one of the ones Jimmy.
That's another episode another subject about the ego, and when you actually have an ego dissolving experience, your fears completely disappear. You become, because I've had it happen, and there's a lot of science that shows that your ego actually holds your fears. So when you can have those ego dissolving experiences, you can really help fight fear.
So the ego fear would be different than the basic.
Yeah, the ego fear is more like psychological stuff, like the fear of abandonment or fear of stuff.
Not the visceral fear. That's a whole different.
Yeah, like fears of snakes and fears of heights are kind of different than your psychological fears.
Psychological.
Yeah, that
makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a difference.
I know. I got a bunch of them. I'm all fucked up over here.
Differences between fears and phobias. Yeah, I get it.
Name is good now, but.
And there's healthy fears, that are like alarm systems, like whenever I'm scared, like a bear's coming at me, holy shit, that's a healthy fear, but there's things that fears that can overwhelm us, and get wrapped up, like Dan was saying, in our ego. I understand what you're saying now, Dan. Yeah, and and it can debilitate us.
Yeah.
I've had ego dissolving experiences where I was like, when it happened, I'm like, what happened to that fear, that I had 20 minutes ago? It's completely gone, and it seems to be held because the ego kind of has this fear to protect us. It protects us, like, from getting hurt or the fear of driving 100 miles an hour. It's the fear that keeps us safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see what you mean, Junior. Yeah, that's a Junior or JR?
That's what I was wondering. Just wondering that because I'm not sure what I called him.
What's going on, Donna? Good evening.
Well, the R wasn't capitalized. I wasn't sure, and there wasn't periods.
Right on.
Yeah. But yeah, we used to be so carefree when we were younger. I used to be able to get on a bicycle and I'd jump over anything, build a ramp, and jump over. I'd lay down and let people jump over me, But today I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that.
It's whole different, like the JR or Junior, because there's times I had to round up goats or catch goats or do, and that was physical fucking labor, and those little bastards will fuck you up, So,
yeah.
But I didn't have a fear then of getting hurt. Is what I'm saying. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't do that now.
It's JR.
Oh, he's a little bit older than I thought he was.
And yeah, Alyssa, I think you're right. The parents go through a little bit more than maybe the child, since the autistic child doesn't experience fear. I've never heard that, but thank you for sharing, and that intrigues me. It's something I have to look up.
I can't see all the comments. I'm sorry.
That's why I was sharing most of them on the screen. So.
Yeah,
females that were talking about fear. I wonder why you feel unsafe. What is? I mean, I'm sorry. Maybe I'm asking the wrong two-pointed question.
I think from my understanding, a lot of women are just traumatized from past experiences, divorces, past relationships, and then they just kind of.
That's what I had in my early life. I always felt unsafe, but I did things to make myself safe, and I, by paying attention to what's going on around me and who's around me. and where my children were. This is the time before cell phones, you know. I took some self-defense classes. I took a concealed and carry class. There's different things you can do for yourself to make you feel more confident that you can defend yourself. And defense has nothing to do about kicking someone's ass. It has everything to do about giving you seconds to get away.
But you also, I meant like a heartbreak too. Like it's kind of hard to guard yourself from that because it is. If you open yourself up, you're gonna, vulnerable to being heartbroken.
It is.
That can be traumatizing and
extremely traumatizing.
It make you fearful going back into dating somebody else.
I can't even figure out how to date. It's not even a thing. What they call dating now is not. No thanks.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord for Patty. I don't have to date.
Lucky little Patty, isn't she?
Oh man, I just the thought of dating that is a fear that I hope I never have to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, most people can't even get through a conversation with me because.
Jimmy made it say shit. That was a badass.
I mean, you kind of see how I speak and stuff. So
I just saw some new data that said loneliness is at an all-time high, and it's about to become the most debilitating thing in the world because it can make you ill, and people are just really lonely and they're not communicating correctly because and I see it in the dating, and like the more years go by, the more I see it in dating how hard it is to date because people just don't know how to communicate anymore, or just how to be just honest. You have to be honest with yourself and then honest with everybody else.
Exactly right.
A lot of people just aren't honest with themselves. They just live in this other world where they don't want to confront
anything.
The issues of life. Yeah.
If you stay honest, you don't have to get honest.
Exactly. See? Right on, Rhino. That's why we keep you around. You're a smart motherfucker.
I think if people just communicated better and opened up and were honest, dating would be a lot easier.
Stop lying to each other. Just be truthful. Yeah. You don't have to be full of hate to be truthful to one another. And disagreements are supposed to happen in a relationship, but how we handle them is a whole different thing. Okay. I mean, we can have a discussion about things without it getting personal and being full of meanness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dating is hard, Miss Debbie.
I'll bet, Debbie. And the fear of being hurt again, like you were saying, is, I believe a lot of that is, of course, times has changed, and before there was, I hate to say it, but, there was a lot more chivalry, and there was more of a gentleman aspect in a relationship, a gentleman and a lady, not saying a role.
Gentleman and a lady, yes.
But the attitude, not saying a role, but the attitude and the sense of community, and people being able to talk to each other, and instead of, being fearful of what the other person's going to think and what's going to happen, and then people get wrapped up in a marriage or a relationship that they can't get out of because they're fearful that they're going to hurt the other person or get hurt or vice versa, or what's going to happen. And rather than just having a communicable conversation, talk to each other and say, hey, this is what's going on with me, and it's hard to do that these days. People are afraid to have a deep conversation.
Yeah.
If any of that made sense. I talk in circles.
It made sense to me. I got your squirrels, brother.
It's actually called a monophobia.
Right.
The fear of loneliness is a fear that you will be alone or in life or that nobody cares about you. It can affect your social, emotional, and physical health and the way you think about yourself and others. And it can be caused by past experience of abandonment, low self-esteem, or poor social adaptation. So, I mean, a lot of these issues can have to do with your childhood and have to do with your inner child and all these other issues you have.
They do. And I think that's where I'm at. There's so much social stuff I don't really understand because when I was young, I wasn't doing the things I should have been doing. I was doing the things of somebody in their 20s. You know, as a mommy, I was a mother, I was a wife, I took care of my house, I worked. I mean, yeah. So there was a bunch of stuff I missed. Now I'm trying to catch up where I'm an old lady, and now I don't really give a fuck about a lot of stuff. Okay. So yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
For a weird. Yeah. It's just something.
Alyssa, yes, we can always agree to disagree, and it's hard for people to do that today. You know, like just for instance, if I was one side of politics and Becca was on the other side, we could disagree and still be friends. You know, that is possible. That does happen in
it
this
does
world.
really
But you don't see it much anymore, unfortunately. People get wrapped up in religion or politics or whatever disagreement it may be, and just in fear of being wrong.
They make it mean, and it's not a discussion no more. You know, as soon as you start slinging shit at each other on a personal level, it's not a conversation anymore. You know, especially a deep one. So, but I want to hear other people's viewpoints, because I'm not even sure if my viewpoints are right or wrong. They're just what I have come up with after reading, because I read all the time. I'm a reader, man. Okay, that's what I do. It's where I excel. Doesn't mean I file it away right in this old brain, but it means I do read a lot.
There's a lot of the posts a couple days ago about loneliness being now a whole public health issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
I don't feel as lonely now since Macy and Helene came and seen me. That was a huge thing for me, guys. That just made me feel so more connected and like just cared about, really.
Yeah. It says right here.
I seen Jeremy's comment up there, and I looked down and I almost said, "Hey, Jeremy's frozen."
Oh,
that's what I was thinking too.
But it says right here, look at the loneliness causes is equal to smoking 15 cigarettes a day, according to the U.S. Surgeon General. Poor or insufficient connections with others increases the risk of heart disease by 29%, stroke by 32%, and dementia by 50%. You have a 50% better chance of developing dementia if you don't have the correct social interactions.
Really?
Right.
And
I can't read it myself, but wow.
People are becoming lonely, and now we're becoming too scared to talk to each other and communicate.
And and COVID didn't help it at all. That threw a whole wrench in the gear. We won't get into the schematics of it, but as far as the loneliness and it
disconnecting.
It disconnected everybody, and it put us on here, which is it helped after a while, but at first there wasn't no Zoom or Facebook Live that much and stuff like that. People had to find that route. Right. And there was people that were lonely, and I know for myself, if I didn't have recovery in me at the time, it could have been a bad deal, but luckily I did have, some knowledge of recovery in me, and was working in the field at the time too. So I had that surrounded by me. And I still had to go out and be social because I was one of the essential workers or whatever. I was able to go out and do this and that. But, there was another fear, just of catching the disease.
Yeah.
Right.
Forgot where I was going with that. Sorry.
That's all right. Fear's a deep issue in our society, and
you're very right, JR.
I actually jumped out of a plane once, and I went through that kind of fear where you're scared of heights. They actually had to push me out of the plane. And after I did it, I felt like I grew a lot as a person after I did it, but I wouldn't do it again. But I felt that I experienced something
they pushed you out.
I'd love to try it.
Well, I froze on
too. I don't think I
froze on the side, and I'm attached to the guy in the parachute. And he's like, "Well, the camera guy can't hold on forever." So I'm supposed to rock forward like this, and on the third rock go out, but he ended up doing it for me. And then they just pushed me out.
Oh, so you were on a tandem. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I would love to try that. Yeah, man. Yeah. I seen him doing that out in the desert. It was fucking fantastic. And there was the paraglider or hang glider too. Oh, it was fabulous. I watched it on a layover.
But that's a different kind of fear. I overcame that fear because it was a remembrance jump in remembrance of a friend. So I figured I would do it for somebody else because I probably wouldn't do it for myself. But there were 12 other people jumped that day, and 9 of her friends who were girls jumped that day, and only 3 guys. So
Really?
a lot of the women had bigger guts than her male friends.
Yeah, you just never know what some women are. They're,
Yeah,
they're amazing.
and a lot of the women said they'd do it again. I was like, no, I've jumped out of a plane once. That's good enough for me.
And you're good enough, huh? You make a very
Well,
good point there. Hi, Philip.
Lots of good comments. Thank you guys for all sharing.
All right, I want to read something real
very
quick.
well, Kristen.
I want to read something out of this is out of the Alcoholics Anonymous book. This part doesn't relate to alcoholism. I mean, it does all the way, but I mean, that's not what I'm bringing it up for. It talks about fear. It says this short word somehow touches about every aspect of our life. It was an evil and corroding thread. The fabric of our existence was shot through with it. It set in motion trains of circumstances which brought us misfortune we felt we didn't deserve. But did we not ourselves set the ball rolling? And that's what I mean about that false evidence appearing real, And if you think about that, an evil thread, the fabric of our existence. If you think of the fabric, just feel your shirt. How interweaved that is in our shirt. And that's the way fear can be interweaved in us. Yeah. And it talks about sets in motion trains of circumstances which brought misfortune we felt we didn't deserve. Yeah. But and it says we set the ball rolling ourselves, and that's what I mean about fabricating something that hasn't happened yet. And it's wrapped up in so much, and it's not like a wheelbarrow full of circumstances, it's a train load, and that's that's where it can take us if we let that fear override us and that ego take over.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What Kristen was just saying, I can't even imagine having a partner life with another man right now. I just can't even see it in my mind. Do I want those things? Well, yeah, I do. But I got some serious fucking boundaries.
And that's
I happen to be able to think for myself. I don't know if it's a blessing or a fucking curse.
And that's where it can be a borderline healthy fear and not, because of course it's healthy to feel the fear of, being hurt, but does it debilitate us,
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I guess if Mr. Right comes along, he'll come along. It's been said that I may be intimidating, but I don't think I am. Actually, I think they're intimidated. There's a huge difference.
Yes.
If they're just paying attention to the bullshit, no, you got to look under that cover, buddy. You got to open the book. You know what I mean? You do. Totally. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, they can too, Helene. Turn into full-blown anxiety, and that's
right. I get it, Helene. Free fall skydiving, really? Wow, Ted, that was one of my goals, but I don't think I can attain that anymore.
It's too late.
I'm not gonna run out and try it, but if someone said, "Hey, man, let's go skydiving," I got the money, let's do it. Sure, I'd try it.
The tandem jump, I might be able to do that.
Because I think you have to
most of the control stuff, right? I wouldn't have to be like.
Here's Macy.
Hi, Macy. Hey, Helene. Hello, everybody. This is Dan Baird. I hope you guys know him. He's really fucking amazing. He's the one I was talking about of the lion's mane and different things with the
CBG.
Well, for like Alzheimer's and dementia and
Yeah, that's what we're giving away
Yeah.
tonight. If you guys didn't know, that's what the giveaway is. It's cannabis oil. And this stuff is really good for Alzheimer's. I've been giving it to somebody with Alzheimer's for 3 years.
really.
And it's been treating her symptoms really well. So I'll give them away a half cup tonight. So you can add that to any recipe, make it some edibles, or use this as a skin creamer. So it's already been activated, so you can literally like add it to your tea or coffee as well.
Yeah, girls, hashtag Greenleaf Herbal in there to get
Yeah.
into the giveaway. I got thunder burmers going on, so if I
What's
go
that?
out, it's just
So do
'cause my
I.
Wi-Fi went down.
I think it's 400 milligrams of THC per half cup. So I think it ends up being like 20 milligrams per teaspoon. So it's pretty strong.
That's pretty strong. Okay, cool. Nice.
Yeah, I got thunder boomers too. It's
Do ya?
reaching from Illinois to Virginia.
Oh,
Wow.
you got Thunder where you guys are at?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Thunder and rain. The wind keeps kicking
It
up.
passed around our city earlier and went towards you guys.
I might have to bolt here in a few minutes and run out and get my plants and secure them.
Huh?
So if I do, I'll be right back. If I
Yeah.
run out, I'll be right back.
You got
Right
plants
on.
outside?
Yeah. I need to transfer. I was going to put them in the dirt tomorrow, but if it's going to rain tomorrow too, I don't know.
I
Yeah.
noticed,
Might wait
yeah,
till the day
I don't
after
know if
tomorrow.
I said this already, but I noticed the thing about fear. If I see fear in somebody else, it just turns me up. I can't handle it. I just want to protect them and make them better and feel safe,
Yeah, and that's you're probably an empath, and there's a lot to that, feeling that
The
other
CBD,
person's
babe.
feelings.
Person, there's a lot you can do with CBD into edibles and creams.
I also sell it too. My capsules right here.
Yeah.
This is my CBD, CBG, 16 milligrams each in one capsule. So, and
Wow.
I sell this stuff for $30 and I can ship it for $35. So
Right on.
this
That's
stuff
cool.
is, if you bought it anywhere else, it'd be twice as much. So I try to make it more affordable. And
Yeah, I was real impressed with your pricing.
so I have a lot of people. I have about five or six people who buy it regularly every month, who use it and like it a lot. So
Cool. Nice.
And
And you don't
Jeremy.
smoke it.
Oh, I want to. Jeremy mentioned something about his medication. They put him on or taking him off. I think taking him off of something he's been on for 25 years due to the possible causing of Alzheimer's. I giggle because it says Alzheimer's, but Alzheimer's, I'm sure he meant. But that's one thing I advocate a lot about is we are the expert on ourselves, and we are our own advocate sometimes, and that's where we got to tell that doctor, hey man, look, this is what's working, I've had to do
Tell
that
that
for myself, and I've had to do it for other people, and sometimes it takes a little bit, but then doctors will listen. Hopefully, if not, get another. Well, I can't say get another doctor because I'm not
Right
a
on,
professional to
Kristen.
tell you to do that.
Kristen, get with the message Dan later, or he can put his thing up and talk to him. He can lead you in a good path. You don't have to go the marijuana. You can go the CBD.
That's why I sell the
or
CBD, CBG.
The mushrooms are superfoods, and there's all kinds of options for you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Also look into yoga, the really
Right.
basic yoga.
The lion's
really
mane as
good.
well too. This is $12, so it's all pretty affordable medicine.
Yeah,
And the
natural
lion's mane-
medicine.
Lion's
And you're
mane-
making these, Dan?
Yeah, I make all these stuff myself.
That's wonderful. That's really cool. You're an amazing fellow, aren't you?
Yeah. Thanks.
Huh. Man.
He is.
I try to
And
do
you live
everything
in
myself.
Illinois, is that right?
In Quincy, Illinois. Yes.
Quincy, I'm coming to visit you one of these days, mister. One of these days. Yeah, I hope you don't mind.
And yeah, Jimmy said
Do you
it.
like visitors?
What's that?
Do you like visitors, or does that freak you out?
No, as long as I'm in the right mood. I mean,
Okay,
I
well,
do have bipolar, so sometimes I do like to be alone, but that's usually on like Sundays and stuff.
all right. right.
Kristen, Jimmy mentioned something about CBD instead of THC, which is another option. There's so many cannabinoids. If there's something that's beneficial, cannabinoid that's beneficial, you can research a little bit. I don't know all of them, so but there are some that doesn't get you high, and give you that anxiety feeling.
Right.
I don't know all of them. I know there's the CBGA and CBN. Those don't get
Those
you
are the
high.
two I use. Those are
But they
for
have medical
pain.
properties, and they help with anxiety and depression.
They do, yes.
That's something I need to work on. I'm going to make a commercial explaining more about lion's mane and CBD, CBG.
Yeah.
Play broadcast.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I really love this. Thank you for letting me up here. It's so hard for me to be in comments. I suck at comments.
Yeah. The days I take my CBD, I definitely notice THC has a less effect on me.
Right
but
on, Jimmy.
I still know that you're still getting the THC doing stuff behind the scenes,
And
Sometimes
what I found with CBD, with the right one, it's not really a high. It's more like, oh, wow, I feel better. Things aren't so fucked up now, not so in my face is what I mean. It's not really a high.
I've noticed what this stuff does, because I have 2 people now that have bipolar that take this, is that it really lessens the effects of mania. So it really keeps you from having manic episodes, because it keeps your energy a lot more calmer and your demeanor a lot calmer, because your insides, are calmer. Your brain's not as going as wild with those manic thoughts.
The round and round thinking.
Yeah, or like somebody trying to say something.
Seriously, I don't know.
Or somebody trying to say something, like trying to say 5 things at once, or trying to do 5 things at once. That's like manic behavior that bipolar people tend to do.
I was telling it AD, okay?
But I actually have bipolar with ADHD, and I tend to have manic episodes that can last days, but I don't experience as much as I used to.
Right.
But I would basically just get super angry and bitter and isolate for days.
Yeah.
And the mania hits.
Right.
What I like about Dan, we have a lot more in common than just our haircuts.
Right. Yeah. He's pretty great.
Well, yeah, that, and that's part of the journey I'm on, is trying that mental healing without pharmaceuticals. That I personally chose to get off of pharmaceuticals, and I'm trying the lion's mane, and I will be trying the CBGA and the CBN. I think it is.
It's the CBD, CBG.
See, I'm still on all my
CBG
medicine.
is the important thing to know, because the CBG is the mother of all cannabinoids. So it actually is what all cannabis plants start out as, and then they kind of convert to THC or other things. But that's why they call it the mother of all cannabinoids.
Yeah, I
like smart talk, Dan. I'm getting all like wild over here. Watch out.
All plants start out as CBG, and then they convert to CBD, THC, and then all these other things.
Really? I had no idea. That's amazing.
I don't know if you can see that or not.
Oh, the cannabinoid pathways, yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Starts out as CBGA at the bottom there, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all over the place. CB something, CBTV.
Yeah, it's all based on your genetics and nature and stuff.
But yeah, that's amazing.
Wow.
But I
download the chart. I don't know what it means.
I buy the CBG locally around me. Some guy grows it, and then I process it myself. And then the CBD is grown locally as well.
Nice.
So the CBG is actually grown in Missouri. So this is a Missouri farmer I get it from.
And I'd like to learn to, grow all that CBD, CBG, all them different strains for different things.
Yeah. And the terpenes are so amazing, man.
Yeah,
I'm on a learning journey.
I have a whole pound of it. I buy it by the pound, so I have a whole pound of CBG. But it's not very good to smoke. It's really harsh.
Yeah.
But
right.
You can mix it in with other cannabis, but.
So is that what you do? Press that, or do you?
I've actually pressed CBG once, and it came out like a crayon. It looked like a wax crayon, And
Really?
I didn't really get much. I only did it as an experiment. I only got like a 5% return. So I put like 5 grams in, and I only got like 1/10 of a gram back. So it wasn't worth it.
Right.
But I thought it was interesting that it was this waxy substance, and then I dabbed it, and I actually got high off of it. So maybe you concentrate CBG, there may be some kind of psychoactive effect, because I kind of got one.
Right. That's cool.
But some strains aren't really good to press. I do have a press, and if the strain doesn't give me like a 15% return, it's not worth it. So like if I put like 10 grams in, I want to at least get 1.5 grams back in rosin.
I see.
10 grams of flour.
CBD, CBG stuff. What do you do? You just put the flour in a capsule? Or
no, I decarb it first. I put it in the oven at 225, decarb the CBD and the CBG. And then I put it in 18 ounces of coconut oil. And I put it in my infused machine, which actually has it's like a Infusion 420. It's like similar to the Magic Butter machine.
Yeah.
But it's a different brand. And it stirs it for every 45 seconds. And it goes for an hour and a half at 150 degrees. And then I like quadruple strain the oil. So I take all the stuff out I can, because by the time I actually stirs it, it's like grit. So the cannabis is all basically like sand almost.
Really?
So it's
interesting.
It's infused into the oil really a lot. So, and then I filter it and put it into a container, and then that's how I put it into capsules with the machine I have.
Neat. That's interesting.
Absolutely.
So do they use the whole plant of?
Yeah, this is why mine
like
looks
the roots, the stalk, the bud, the everything.
No, but the reason my stuff is more potent is because it is full spectrum. So the way I'm infusing it or infusing the oil, I'm taking the full plant and infusing it into this pill. So you're getting the full spectrum of CBD and full spectrum CBG, which can be a lot more medical benefits than when you have the full spectrum. Can you have the reclaim?
That's interesting stuff, Dan. Really cool.
Well, thanks, Josh. Appreciate that.
Right, Joshua?
I started my
my
herbal medicine journey right after I got diagnosed with bipolar, and I like had the self-awareness of like, I've been in Western medicine now for 25 years and I'm getting more ill, and I'm like, this is not working. And I gave up, and that's when cannabis became legal in Illinois. So I could actually go buy cannabis specifically for bipolar, and then that started my journey. And then I found magic mushrooms, which kind of helped me heal the underlying issues instead of just covering it up.
Right.
And then I made the CBG, and I realized that with lion's mane, CBD, and CBG could really treat mental illnesses, and it's all together. And a good probiotic brand. I was talking to Rhino about that. I think Jimmy Mead started taking it. It's a probiotic on Amazon, and I can actually tell when I take it.
Really?
When I don't take it.
Yeah, that's what I want to try, because I have that stomach, and without your physical health, especially your gut and stuff, your other health just ain't very well, especially your gut.
See, yeah,
For me,
I'm worried about my gut stuff because I have some issues.
I have.
No, Joe, I decarb it. I decarb it before I put it in the machine. So I put it in the oven at 225 for 30 minutes to decarb it.
Right on, guys.
Hi, Waylon. You love fire cow poop.
There's a Waylon?
No, but I did think about starting a mental health class locally around in my city, and having putting together other businesses with like a yoga studio or somebody who does Reiki.
Yeah.
Like just teach other people the other benefits of Eastern kind of approach to mental health.
Right.
So she said, do you have a clinic to attend?
Let me explain WRAP to you real quick, if you got a minute. WRAP is WRAP, Wellness Recovery Action Plan. And it's got different parts. It starts with the Wellness Toolbox. Basically, it's a list of coping skills you use to help you get well. Then you have different parts that are like signals of when you're going towards a crisis. Basically, you have your early warning signs, when things are getting worse, and when things are breaking down. And all three of those lead up to your crisis. And then basically, the Wellness Recovery Action Plan is a crisis plan. Like if you get to that crisis or leading up to it, you can look at this plan. It's a physical plan you put in a notebook, and you can look at it. And basically, if you're in, say, like in the second phase of when things are getting worse, you can look at your coping skills, which is another list of those wellness tools, and you can do something in there that helps you get back to me well. And it's basically just a visual thing that you can look at, because a lot of people, including myself with mental health, I want to see that thing in front of me and be able to look at it. If you tell me to do 5 things, I'm not going to remember that first one by the time you're telling me that 5th one, and so if I have it written down, it's a lot easier. And that Wellness Recovery Action Plan is an actual facilitated evidence-based practice.
Yes.
And I was a facilitator for years, and it works great for mental health. And but yeah, something like that would be great in one of those facilities like you were talking about.
Uh-huh.
Too bad I don't live closer. I think it will be hard to get licenses for administrative suicide. Part of anger management helped me with that.
I took anger management with magic mushrooms. That's actually what I use. It's actually really interesting. I had literally a lot of issues with anger, and that's why I did so many psychedelic trips to help deal with that anger.
Yep.
And there's a lot of a lot of anger involved in your trauma, or when I'm trying to heal my inner child. That's what a lot of my anger was with.
That's awesome, Josh. I'm glad it helped.
Right on.
Any way to deal with anger, I'm all about, no matter how you do it. Some of those classes are really useful.
Yeah, they are.
Oh, damn, Donna. Sorry to hear that. Them Zoom calls, they're pretty easy. I don't know if you've done it yet, but it's not too bad if you're having any anxiety about that.
They're not hard. I actually like that.
And stomach hernia too. That probably messes with the gut.
That's cool, Josh. That's awesome.
But
yeah, and those skills are awesome
with it,
Coping skills are awesome. One thing that helps me with anxiety is just elongated breathing. I'll be sitting there where I'm at, and I'll breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth. And the breath out is longer than the breath in. And what that does is it helps your brain regulate that stress level and deal with it a little bit better, and just kind of calms you down. If your blood pressure's up, if your heartbeat's up, you can do that same exact thing and it'll bring you down.
Oh,
there's more, and you can do it in meditation and do other things too. And it'll really help, but that's a quick help. Sorry, Becca, what?
I was going to try to say that she could go back and watch some of his videos and stuff for more information. And, all of us, if she has questions, anybody will answer,
Yeah, I mean, the whole world's kind of new to mushrooms, and that's why I have my psychedelic file, show, because we're about to hit a new era in mental health treatment. I don't even think a lot of people are aware. I really think
I don't think they
50% of the population have no idea that we're about to legalize psychedelics, and you tell them that, they're like, well, they live under a rock or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, there's 50 studies going on right now with them.
There's some serious psychiatric people behind psychedelics. That what is that? American Psychiatric Association is backing psychedelic studies. Okay,
everybody
they're behind it.
The only people who are not on board are conservative groups in Colorado that are picketing that they don't want this stuff to be around their children and or in their churches or
Okay.
That's good, Jimmy. I'm glad
Right.
that.
They had a
you're
huge
right.
movement. A huge
That's
church in
right.
Colorado. I think it was a conservative church, had a lot of money and backing. They nearly crippled the bill that passed in Colorado. Barely passed the psychedelic bill.
Really?
And they had a whole bunch of lobbying against it, and they spent millions of dollars in commercials lobbying against the legalization of psychedelics. But it
Have
won
they
and it
not been
passed.
reading anything? Are they not doing any
Well,
research?
These are religious groups, and they're like highly conservative religious groups backed by millionaires,
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
they're pretty
awesome.
powerful.
I'd like to try fly fishing sometime, and then there's
Oh,
a
I
lot of
would
things,
too.
and that's some of the things I was talking about, the wellness tools and coping skills. It could be anything. It could be taking a walk, sitting time with my dog. That's a big one for me. Going out in nature, going fly fishing, like you said, any of these coping skills that get you back to that me well place.
And it
And
also
that me
releases
well place
dopamine.
is where I'm at my best.
Dopamine.
Releases
I fucking
dopamine.
love dopamine.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
That's what I'm
I
going to
talk
do the
about
next 5 days.
dopamine a lot, man.
I told you right now I'm going to my brother's lake house, and I'm giving
Yeah.
him 40th birthday. So
It looked beautiful, man.
Hell
I
yeah.
hope you have a good time. I'm sure you will.
yeah, reconnect with nature there. That's what, and family. So
Good deal.
yeah, camping is definitely something I need to do more, but I never end up doing because of fear. I get scared to do it, and I'm like,
By yourself, or would you go with a
we're
person?
just leaving my house. So I have a fear of kind of anxiety where even leaving for work sometimes can take me 20 minutes just to leave my house, and then I have this fear. Sometimes I'll drive away and then I think I left the gas burner on, so I'll have to come back and check it.
Yeah.
And that's like a deep fear. I actually, when I went on vacation in the Ozarks, I made sure I visually looked at it before I left, and I even was in the Ozarks when I started thinking about how I left it on again, and I'm like, I know I turned it off, but my brain, my fear, were trying to create this other story.
Isn't it crazy how insidious that shit is?
Yeah, and then you start
that
panicking.
Sneaks
You're like,
right into your brain, man.
Yeah.
Because I catch myself sometimes doing those things and saying things to myself that I know they're not true. And sometimes I catch them. Not all the time, but sometimes.
yeah.
And a lot more than I used to. But it's so just sneaky right in there, that sneak attack thing.
Josh, that comment there, I was going to mention, that's awesome. Find your inner roots is key. One of the things that I learned is putting a name to my fears, or putting a name to my anger, or whatever it is, label it as what it is, so I can deal with it and, find out what's causing that, triggering that.
Yeah.
And because otherwise, if I don't know, I can't deal with it in the proper way.
Exactly, man. It's just like, whoa.
Yeah, feeling better than nature in my house. And that's actually what I'm going to do my 40th birthday. I was born at 11:59. So on Wednesday night, my family likes to pass out early because they're like in bed by 10. Because nobody in my family drinks really. So we're not like partiers. So I'm going to go sit on the dock and with nature and enjoy my 40th year being on this earth. But some people like to be at a bar around a lot of friends. I just want to be in silence and nature.
Smoke a joint on the lake, baby.
I'll probably be on a few grams of mushrooms so I can really really connect with nature and have a little reset on my 40th birthday, and then
that beach morning with the coffee and each lady had their own joint. It was fucking fabulous. Okay. That was just like the best fucking thing that ever happened to me. It was a glorious morning. We're talking 7 o'clock on the beach. There's not many people out.
Yeah. I thought about fishing too. I'm like, I've never been night fishing on mushrooms before. I'm like, I wonder how
cops maybe.
Maybe that'd be fun.
Because when you have mushrooms in you, like an experience that you've done 100 times seems like the first time you've done it. So that's why it gives you that magical feeling. Correct? Yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's why I sometimes do it, and then I experience something I do all the time, and I'm like, wow, that felt really different. And it revitalizes you want to do it, to go.
Yeah. I get you. I totally
it's
get
like
you.
It's like golf. I could sit there and hit 100 bad shots, but I'm going to hit that one that's going to say, all right, I'll be back tomorrow or next time.
Yeah. Waylon said, let's trip on your birthday. Well, you're 2 hours away. And then when I go to the Ozarks, you're going to be 6 hours away.
Yeah.
Hey, we got 17 people in that giveaway. Don't forget to hit that like button today, folks. Share us out as well. Again, even if I'm halfway over the episode, people still watch it afterwards. So sharing out is helpful, no matter when you do it.
I shared it out. I didn't tag, but I shared.
Well, it's fine. Thank you.
I appreciate you letting me come up. You don't know how hard it is. Maybe you do. I'm bad in comments.
Holy crap, Kristen. Sorry that happened. Wow.
You got hit in the head with a liver wrapped in pantyhose.
Holy shit.
No.
As long as you didn't get hit with you didn't get hooked, did you?
You didn't get trouble hooked, did you? Wow.
Jody. I love it. I love it. Now I know now I can hold on. Let me get over there. I need to follow her. I got some beard butter from Jody's Creations.
I don't have any beard to have to try out this beard butter.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's nice.
I'm
sitting out. She's probably asking because I'm sitting here going like that and brushing it soft. Patty wants it too.
See, I can never make it past that. If this grows out to a certain level, then it gets really itchy, and then I shave it. So I never get past the itchy stage. So never. But
now I don't.
Right
Jody, is this infused with? Is it infused with Is it can of butter, or is it just a butter that you made? I know
this is coconut oil.
Right. I was asking Jody because I got this from that lady that's in the comments, Jody Hardwick.
Nice.
I didn't realize it was hers until she said, "How you like the beard butter?"
That's cool.
I just bought it the other night.
Yeah, everybody's giving it good reviews, like that beard butter.
Yeah.
You have?
Super cool.
You got beard butter too?
No, I said I saw other people talking about it, how good of the product it was.
Oh, yeah.
That could be a big factor, Joe Kelly.
Just coconut oil and coconut butter and essential oils. Okay. Either way, it's still good. It works great.
Right.
I will be a return customer.
We should have beard wars.
Steve-O's got most of us beat. Steve-O's got a pretty long one.
He does. But we could do like the best decorated, the best design, the best curl, the bushiest, the thickest. We could do all kinds of stuff.
Right.
Man, did you ever see that one on TV? It was on TV. It was Beard Wars.
Larry the Cable Guy used to do only in America. And he'd go around to different businesses in different parts of the country and just checking out stuff and interviewing, reviewing, kind of like what Waylon does sometimes. But Larry went to this one place and they were having a beard contest, and he was one of the judges, and it was really funny. Well, Larry the Cable Guy made it all.
Yeah,
joking.
some of those guys wax their mustaches like crazy and curls and all kinds of stuff, man. So, yeah, it's wild. Wild.
My ear once. That's why I hate fishing. Ow. I like fishing. I like going out in nature. I like bass fishing more than I do anything.
I like to cast, and I like to bobber fish. About the extent of it. I am entertainment value only. I'm not gonna catch probably nothing.
Yeah,
but I will bait my own hook and I will take off my own fish.
Brian Jackson, what's up, Arkansas? How you doing today, buddy?
Right on, Jimmy.
Hey, Donna, there's a lot of different ways. If you win it, I can definitely, message you different ways to use it. But I've had people use it for fibromyalgia, to any kind of skin, rash. I mean, it has THC in it, and all the way to using it for edibles.
Right on. I bet it'd be really great for hair. that's been damaged.
Probably.
Or like a hair treatment, you know.
It's a really good premium coconut oil I buy because I've been kind of studying different coconut oils by buying them and then experimenting with this lady who had Alzheimer's. So when I like a bad coconut oil, she was very sensitive to it. She wouldn't get that infusion. So we found this product from Walmart where she got the best. It seemed to infuse the best.
That's cool. Really cool.
So some of those brands of coconut oil don't put a lot of fat, or I think like Sam's Club, their coconut oil seems way more watered down, and they buy it and brand it themselves and package it themselves in their Sam's Club's coconut oil, but that stuff's garbage.
Yeah, I'm noticing some of the butters are holding more water too, because if you let them get melty, the water separates out.
Yeah,
and that's not butter. That's fucking margarine.
Yeah.
Okay. Come on now.
Yeah, that was the Sam's Club was actually the one she complained about. She actually messaged me after she used it and asked if I had infused it. I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, but I used a different brand this time, so we went back to a new brand, and it worked again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's
so,
Sam's Club
taking the lion's mane too.
No, she took yeah, she did. She took the lion's mane and the CBD, CBG.
Yeah.
But she had the most profound effects with this oil.
Really? That's amazing.
Her husband
has she tried the magic mushrooms?
No.
I wondered if like microdosing.
No, this person was actually brought to me by their nurse, somebody who does like their nurse in home. Mm-hmm. And it's somebody who I knew, and I got them some samples, and then they got them to them because they had been apparently buying products from the dispensary, and they spent a lot of money, and they couldn't find anything that worked.
Right.
So they tried they were capsules I made. They tried the capsules, and her husband noticed that night that her behavior was changing, and she does is
sundowners.
She'll apparently get up in the middle of the night and wander around the house, and she didn't do it that night. She slept through the whole night apparently, and that's when he noticed it was changing her behavior. So we got her some more of it, and she's been taking it for a while now. Now he takes it too, and he was anti-marijuana. He didn't even believe that stuff worked.
How are you documenting this journey of hers?
In my head.
Dan Baird, are you fucking kidding me?
I've never actually
met a scientist.
I've never actually met these people. I give them the medicine through their nurse. So the nurse comes and picks it up, and I give it to them. But she sends me pictures of them, and they send me well wishes, and that they thank me for providing them with something that's affordable and potent.
That's awesome. Is a lovely and beautiful thing.
Jody, I sent you a friend request. I can't join your group yet because I'm still restricted for 3 days.
I have sunflower lecithin too, but I don't add it. I need to add it more, but I don't really notice much of a difference unless I'm using unless I'm actually making edibles. So when you take the coconut oil, you can add a little bit more lecithin, and it'll help the coconut oil infuse with the food better. But lecithin is something you use for an infusion. It's supposed to help molecules bind to the THC molecules bind to the oil better.
Cool.
And he's right. Use the sunflower stuff. That's the healthier stuff. There's other lecithins out there that uses a really unhealthy process to make it, and it's not good for the environment.
Wow.
I got so much to learn.
Me too.
Well, I learned about the sunflower lecithin.
I just love it. Okay.
I learned about the sunflower lecithin when I was doing edibles years ago, because I used to make a lot more edibles, but then it kind of got old to me, and I got bored of it. But I have a whole bag of sunflower lecithin that will last me years because I bought a huge container of it, and you only need like 1/8 of a teaspoon in a recipe. It's like very little that.
That's the things I do, buddy. I have a bag of chai seeds I've been working on forever.
Well, I mean, it doesn't take much, so they sell them in big bags on Amazon, but a huge bag lasts you years. You don't use much of it.
Yeah.
He's
great, isn't he? Jimmy?
Very useful for things that don't mix well together, like sometimes THC and some oils.
Really? Just the coolest stuff, man. You're the coolest dude. Yeah, you are.
Hardtack hippie hooked me up on skills. Cool.
Really, Justin. That's interesting. Or Joshua, I'm sorry.
Powder for edibles. Powder? What kind of powder?
That's what I was going to ask. But I was yawning.
How do you make an infused powder? Unless I guess I don't know.
Well, you can infuse sugar. I know you can infuse sugar.
When I actually, I don't know if I've never really talked about it, but in 2016, my house got raided by the police, and I got arrested for growing cannabis. And I was back then I was experimenting with a lot of stuff that the police didn't even know what it was. I was infusing hard candies with I can't remember what it's called, but it's something you use inside a candy. And so I used to make a lot more edibles than I do now. He's talking about candy there too. But yeah, I can't remember what that liquid is, but I would make this liquid syrup, and you can use it if you infuse it. It's glycerine. Glycerine, yeah. So if you infuse glycerine, you can use that stuff in a lot of different candies. Or you can just eat the glycerine. It tastes really sweet and already has stuff in it.
Yeah. Is that like simple syrup? Is that what glycerin is?
Yeah, it was the only time I really messed around with it. I bought like a whole gallon of it and infused it.
I can play the riff in that song, Glycerin.
The stupid thing is when they weigh all that out, when they weigh edibles out and you get arrested for it, they charge you for the weight of it. So it was like the whole weight of that gallon of glycerin that was infused, they charged me with the weight of it.
Oh, wow.
But I maxed out at 5,000 grams, so they just charge you with the max. Did you get in 2013, Ted? I was unfortunately the talk of my town for a whole day. I had the news in my front of my house. I was doing a live shot. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
It's not the way you want to get popular, is it?
No. But my attorney did really well at making it disappear. They never talked about me again because I went in there and she's like, "Man, you're the talk of the town today." She's like, we need to eliminate that if you want to stay in business, because I had a construction business.
Oh, yeah.
It's not good for business. Well, some people it's not. A lot of people didn't care. In fact, a lot of people.
What it's cracked up to be, Josh. I was popular in high school, but
but I did learn a lot growing illegally. So I mean, that year of growing, I learned so much that that I use today now.
Right on. Yeah, as long as you can still put it to good use, it's not lost information.
No, that was my child's play days. Now I feel like I'm like a lot more mature gardener, and I'm at a different level than I was then.
Yeah.
Now that I've got more knowledge.
Amen, Kristen.
That's the best way to be a gardener is to do experience. The longer you do it, the better you get at it.
Right.
And I don't have my shirt on. I have my shirt on, Kristen. You would have liked it. It said, it was a question. It says, "You don't need an AR." And it says, "You don't need a whiny little bitch like you, but here you are."
Hey, Vicky White, what's up?
Preteen until I started smoking. That's awesome, Donna. Do you use RSO? Does that help that? I don't know what you use. Or are you talking about just cannabis, period?
Yeah, Joe, it is silly. I know you can give cannabis away in Illinois, but it has to be bought from a dispensary. And they passed that law where you can't grow your own cannabis and then give it away for free, which is stupid.
That's ridiculous.
So you can give it away for free, but it has to be bought from the dispensary. And then you can give it to somebody who is at least 21.
Wow. Pretty
But they did
controlling, aren't they?
When you grow cannabis, you grow way more than you ever can smoke. So it's kind of like, what are you going to do with all this cannabis?
Missed a comment somewhere.
I did.
No, I did.
Oh,
Trying to find one. Oh, John Payne and Amendment 2. I was wondering who Kristen was talking about. She said he's a great friend of hers. Is he a legislator over there, Kristen, or a congressman?
Right, Donna.
broke a rib. That
Your
stinks.
Honor.
Broken ribs are not fun.
Oh my God.
No. And you know, and speaking of fears,
Neither is feeling ill. Hope you
You
feel
know,
better, Cindy.
those are one of the things anymore. You know, Becca mentioned something about falling over, you know, fear. And, you know, that's one of my biggest fears is not being able to defend for myself, not being able, I don't mean in a fight. I mean, like, you know, not being able to take care of myself, you know, not
Yeah.
being able to wipe my own ass, you know, not
Right.
being able to, you know, just do things that I should be able to do as an able-bodied male, or person, you know. So it's, them fears are there, you know, with my back going out and stuff like that, you know, that I try to do exercise as best I can, what I can handle. And, you know, that's the thing though, is, you know, I have fear, but I still have courage too. So, you know,
Yeah.
the courage to keep doing it and working through it. That's, you know, fear can be overcome by faith or courage, you know, and it could actually be something that drives you. You know, it drives me, if something that, like I said, an alarm system earlier, you know, fear can make me say, hey, look, motherfucker, that you need to do this or this, you know, and sometimes it's hard to take that initial step. It is,
Right.
you know, but once you do, you know, you'll feel a lot better about doing it. Faith over fear. That's right, Josh. I'll tell you guys this. It's not a joke. It's kind of a parable thing. This guy walks across the tightrope across Niagara Falls. He's got the crashing of the falls and the wind and the mist and everything, and the crowd yelling. Well, he gets down the other side, and this guy in the audience, he says, "Hey." He goes, "That's pretty awesome. Can you do it again?" Well, the guy that walked the tightrope says, "Well," he goes, "Yeah." He says, "I can do it again." He says, "Do you believe that I can do it?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "I believe you." He says, "I just seen you do it." He says, "Do you have faith?" He says, "Yeah." Or no, he says, "Do you have trust?" He says, "Yeah, I trust you. You're a professional." He says, "Well, do you have complete faith and trust?" And the guy says, "Sure, why not?" Well, the guy said, "All right, get in the wheelbarrow." And the guy said, "Sure, why not?" You know, and do I have that complete faith and trust in what I'm doing, you know, and God and my eye. But, you know, if I have that complete faith and trust, I can get through anything. You know, fear is overridden. And if you're not religious, then use the word courage, you know.
I know my anxiety can really get kicked in high gear with, like, if I don't understand something. Like, if I don't understand, I'm just like in a circle in my head continuously until somebody will take the second to explain to me whatever it is that's going on, you know?
Right.
And I don't like that about myself, because if it's like a serious situation, you know, sometimes I can lose my shit. And I don't like to do that, but it seems to be a thing that I do. So, yeah. And I overshare.
If we get, oh no, you're fine. And we react to, like I said earlier, we react to fear and different things a lot different than we used to. Hey, Michael, what's up, buddy?
Little Pecker. I didn't know that was him. That must be his name.
Yeah, he's cool. He's a cool guy. He hung us those chicks yesterday. Yep. He did had a lot of head shaking.
Ted. When you've had enough pain or fear, something's going to change. That's absolutely right.
Right, Jimmy. I'm sad that you know how that is, Jimmy, but I'm happy so I'm not alone.
Sure.
Vicky says he'll be taking an empty wheelbarrow. She ain't going across that fucking tightrope.
Right.
That's funny. But yeah. False evidence appearing real. And there's some other acronyms. Face everything and rise.
That's what I was going to look up here.
Face everything and recover. But try not to use fuck everything and run.
Yeah.
I'm going to see what this book says about fear.
Let me see what the working definition.
'27.
Fear is a very natural human response that arises as a defense mechanism in the face of potential danger or harm. It can manifest in a variety. Absolutely. Psychology of fear.
Yeah, I had the fear of death this year when I turned 40. I definitely started having dreams about it, and
Fear of death.
just reached that age where it makes you think about life.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How much time you got left?
I mean, being a driver for so long, I kind of have a fatalistic viewpoint on the death. It's not gonna get us all. We just don't,
Sure.
Yeah, I have, Oh, go ahead, Becca.
And what you said about you said something. Now it's gone. I'm sorry.
I
There you
understand
go.
that.
Oh, that sucked. All right. Well, sorry about that.
No problem. I do it all the time.
This is that book I was talking about,
Chakra healing.
Chakra Healing, and it has a whole section here about fear that I was going to read because it's actually really interesting. It's basically Eastern medicine's approach.
All right.
Absolutely.
It says that when we feel fear, we perceive someone or something as dangerous. We feel it is going to cause us harm or is threatening our existence. Fear causes a change in brain and organ function, activating a cascade within our sympathetic nervous system that brings us into fight or flight mode. It is an adaptive behavior that helps us identify threats and survive predators and natural disaster. Fear is helpful for survival. However, being in this state for too long can negatively impact our lives. Some issues that can trigger this primal reaction are around basic survival needs and feeling secure in our lives, neighborhoods, and families. Anytime our basic needs are threatened and imbalances, it creates an imbalance in our root chakra. And if we've been taught at an early age to stay in this fear, it can create long-standing root chakra disharmonies that affect us as adults. Staying in fear for long periods of time can also take an effect on our hormonal system and cause adrenaline fatigue. Another chakra that can be affected when we feel fear is our solar plexus chakra, and this is often a result of the initial root chakra imbalance. Not feeling supported in our basic needs can create a sense of powerlessness and challenge our self-esteem, both of which are related to our solar plexus chakra. And those are all about the chakra medicine I've told you about, how you can actually go into the chakras about how to heal each one. And
Right.
Yeah,
And
that's
that's what I
really
want to look
terribly
more
interesting.
into.
I think I actually have a book over here about that.
yeah, this is a book called Chakra Healing. It's the beginner's guide to how to self-healing techniques that balance the chakras.
Interesting.
I got it in my saved books on Amazon, that and the other one you showed me too, about the shaman.
But I'm not sure if I believe in the whole that we have chakras and stuff in our body, but I finding that approach to healing has actually been beneficial because it's so accurate how accurate those things are. Like how if you have fear and then you kind of heal to go the route of healing the way they offer it, well, you almost always find healing and you always conquer those fears. And it always blows my mind when I approach it in the Eastern medicine approach, how well it works, every time.
What it was he said was about feeling the fear of being incapable, and that is kind of where I find myself at right now with my journey I'm on with my limitations of learning those limitations. And it's fucking hard, I mean, not that I have a pity party for myself, but I've always been capable of finding a way to do things, I wanted to accomplish.
Gotcha.
And now it's to a point like it's a crazy amount of thinking about how I can accomplish something with not really my body, but mechanically. See, and I've never been mechanically inclined. So now I'm having to figure it the fuck out.
Right. Yeah, and that's a fear of the unknown. It would be.
I've always been very capable. Whatever I set my mind to, I was going to accomplish it,
I find a
somehow.
new limitation all the time,
It's
and
just
it's
like,
like, oh,
fuck.
I thought I
Yeah.
could go farther.
Yeah.
Hi,
Right?
Steve-O.
Hi, Stevie. What's up?
Yeah, that's a healthy fear. I understand that, Vicky.
Oh, bless you. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's one of them things that it's a borderline healthy, and it could debilitate you a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Just try to live the best you can, hon. That's what I try to do. I've died once on the way to a hospital from a beating years ago, and it woke me up, about a lot of things, and it actually wiped away some fears that I had. The fear of dying. I'm not afraid of that anymore. I know it's bound to happen. It's like my dad used to always say, there's two things guaranteed in life, son: death and taxes.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, buddy. That's
But it's what I learned. There a lot of, if not almost all of our emotions are based on, or emotions are based off of. What am I trying to say? Hold on, I want to say it right.
emotional reactions from trauma.
Well, a lot of our emotions are based on two emotions, and that's fear and love. And where we go from there. And when you do introduce trauma, those can be all messed up, especially when your brain can't regulate stress the right way.
Yeah, the regulating. Ooh, Betty.
And that can be messed up by addiction, alcoholism, or your parents having addiction, alcoholism. There's things in your brain that you can
And
be.
like I mean, I don't know if it's all traumas, but serious trauma really changes your brain pattern. It changes your brain. Okay. And it just, and then like there's like head trauma too. Like if you've hit your head a lot and have had concussions, how many times have we hit our head hard enough that we've probably had a concussion and never went to the doctor about it? It's just, there's so many things, man. So many facets of it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? When we start really looking at it, that's why I love coming on this
Mhm.
or talking
It's
with
an
you
it's
guys.
an intricate machine up there.
Yeah, the human body is just really.
That's why I have the Rumination Project, because to talk more about complex things.
Absolutely. And yes, Cindy, I do believe in healing oils.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all that comment. Yeah.
I used to do, if some of you don't know, I've said it before, I used to be an alcohol drug counselor. And at the rehab we worked at, one of our counselors did an essential oils group. And I would sit in it every once in a while. And I learned one of my favorite things, I don't have any, but lemon or any kind of citrus will help you with stress.
Yeah.
There used to be this stuff called Melissa. If you know oils, you probably know it. But it's a citrusy smell, and it's got a lemony smell in it. And I would put a little drop or two on a cotton ball and put it in a Ziploc baggie. And I'd carry it around in my pocket at work. And if I had a stressful moment, I'd duck into the bathroom, pull that out, take a couple whiffs, do a little quick 5-minute meditation, and then go about my way. And some breathing exercises, and it helps. So oils, yeah, and also peppermint helps with nausea. So yeah, there's all kinds of healing properties of them oils.
Yeah, I really like the oils. There's a lot of studies about different smells helping different things and to calm or to make the home feel more homey. Certain smells do that and supposed to trigger good memories and stuff like that. Dopamine. Um, I too like the citrus smells, but I go towards I like orange and lemon or lime. I freaking love those. I mean, just good stuff. And
Yeah,
grapefruit can be a really good scent also. So
I agree, Steve. It's what Dan started here is a good thing, and Mondays and Thursdays, I'm grateful to be part of it because, it's needed, people, a safe place, people come in without judgment,
Exactly.
and that's what we're trying to, what I try to advocate for. And that's why, I kind of grabbed on Dan's shirt tail because he's got the same beliefs and feelings I do, about life.
It's really been healing for me too.
I love it.
Like,
Okay.
8 months ago, there's no way I could have got on here and talked
Really?
about my own things. Yeah, I mean, that when I met Waylon
Oh, I
and
thought you've been
Steve-O,
at this longer.
when I met Waylon and Steve-O, yeah, I did. I waited a whole year between my second and third broadcast because I was scared. I had to literally like sit down to do the broadcast, and then I just forget everything I was going to say. And I had to get over that. And then I met Steve-O and Waylon, and they helped me, get over, because they had to get over first the fear, and then actually talking about it without like starting to cry. Like
Right.
when I first started, I would like choke up, and then I would struggle to openly talk about my vulnerabilities. And now, I can talk about it without getting emotional. So that means, I've done a lot of healing.
And I love that, that
That's
word
awesome.
vulnerability.
Thank you so
People
much.
misunderstand that word vulnerability so much.
Yeah.
Vulnerable not necessarily means leaving yourself vulnerable to get hurt. Vulnerable could mean, like for me, it's open, like Dan said, opening up and letting that stuff out, because what it does is rips that Band-Aid off and allows that healing process to start,
Yeah.
and without that happening, that initial step, it's hard to come out of where you're at, or it was for me, until I
Yeah.
was able to, come out and talk openly about my mental health. It was years ago whenever I started working in the field, but it was the same way. It was like I was a new person, a whole new world opened up to me, and I was able to see through a new pair of glasses.
Right.
And that was before I had glasses.
Right on, Steve.
But I actually watched some of my old episodes from, it's been 18 months ago, and the way I spoke and all my language and the way I was talking was way different than I am now. And I just noticed that even the way of speaking, how much it's matured and gotten better just in that short amount of time in my life. Because it's your voice, it's your truth. So when you struggle to talk, that means you're struggling to tell your truths. Mm-hmm. And I actually believe that a lot of children speak, because I had speech impediment when I was a child, and I really think that was trauma related. I don't think I got speech impediment because of something in my brain. I think sometimes you get speech impediments because you're not confident enough to talk, and then you start talking with a little bit of speech impediment, and then it kind of sticks.
Yeah.
And that fear and anxiety can be wrapped up.
Because I noticed, because I still have the S lisp a little bit, but when I'm on like a psychedelic, it completely goes away.
Really?
I've noticed that.
I don't know why. That means it's more or less a behavior in my brain with the way I talk, and then it corrects itself. But I found that fascinating as I've become a better speaker, that has that little part of that I struggle with has gone away more.
I thought about that the other night when you were talking about it, because I could tell you the way you were flowing a lot better after you took a little microdose.
Oh yeah. It helps with the brain neurology.
Yeah.
That's the bad thing about being bipolar, is sometimes the brain gets clogged up with brain fog, and a lot easier than other people's. And
I understand that.
So it's nice to have that now instead of that going to an antidepressant or some kind of other medication.
Yeah.
It hides in many
never
forms.
known any of that if you hadn't told me.
Yeah.
I'm serious. I'm amazed. You've done fantastic, Dan.
Well,
when you're talking about things that you are very knowledgeable about, you just go. You know what I mean? And it is awesome. That's how my ex-brother-in-law was. Just chit chat was uncomfortable, and he'd stutter more. But when he got on stuff about cars and just cars or anything that had a motor, he did not stutter at all. And he was amazing. So pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I've looked into a study, and they're actually studying how to get rid of speech and differences with psychedelic, and they're using research to kind of study that. or
Mhm.
psychedelics to study that because they think it can be fixed somehow. But they're still trying to figure out how to remove the psychedelic part and get the medicine out so they can actually someday maybe give it to children.
Yeah.
A mushroom, the molecule, without having a psychedelic experience, but to have them get the medicine part
Right.
can cause a little bit of neurodegeneration.
Yeah.
And Dan, I like the way you
Regeneration. There
say,
you go.
I like the way you say I have bipolar and I'm not, I am bipolar. I was going to mention that kind of to Cindy, and not, I know a lot of times I like to say, or I used to say, I'm an alcoholic. I'm bipolar. I'm ADHD. I'm this and that. But I'm Bruce Reinheimer. I live with bipolar. I live with anxiety. I live with ADHD. I try not to identify myself as that. So, just because I have mental health, it doesn't define me as who I am.
Exactly.
It's just a part of me, and the stigma out there, conditions us to call ourselves by our labels, and
Yeah.
first off and foremost, I am Bruce Reinheimer, or Rasta Rhino, whatever my nickname may be, but or your nickname may be, but that's one of the things is I always stress on it. I try not to say what or call myself by my diagnosis. And now in group, we used to have this thing where we talk about how we were doing that day and talk about our mental health, and everybody started asking me, well, Bruce, what do you take? What are you on? What's your diagnosis? Well, I told somebody one time that I had ADHD, and they asked what I was taking, and I said nothing. Well, they took that as, oh, they can take nothing, they'll be fine. And so what I did is I took that out of there, and it kind of knocked the stigma away too. And this is where it gets a little funny, is I told told my clients, I said, let's just stop calling it our mental health or what diagnosis. Call it our squirrels. And whatever our medicine is, just call your squirrel food. We don't have to worry about what other people's taking or what other people diagnosed with, because that's where the stigma comes in and starts putting shame to things. So I said, let's just call it squirrels. And our squirrel food is what we take to help us when we feed our squirrels. And our doctor's our head vet, and they all started laughing. And then from then on, they passed that through. And for the 3 or 4 years that I worked there, people would come up to me, clients, I'd see them after they were an outpatient. They'd come up and say, hey, Rhino, or hey, Bruce, my squirrels are doing great today,
Yeah, I call them squirrels
what we
too,
were
man.
talking about, And if we were talking, they come up and say, man, I'm not doing very good. I said, did you feed your squirrels today? No, I forgot to. Damn, that's what. And, and it took that stigma and that shame away from it. And it got a little laugh about it, And, that's what a big part of this is too, is killing that damn stigma, because mental health should not be shameful.
Exactly. And it sucks.
Have you ever seen the documentary called Kissed by God?
No.
But I'll play I actually have the promo for it right here. It's actually really interesting because it actually inspired me to be, when I first got bipolar. I watched all these bipolar documentaries, and then it kind of made me want to rise up, through this mental illness. But it's a really interesting documentary. I think everybody should watch. I'll just play the preview here. Let me load it up.
I'm sorry, Cindy, I can't see all your comments.
Yeah, Cindy, she says, I think smoking weed is okay, but it can't be the answer. Now, I don't smoke weed or do whatever it is to do anything to mask. One of the best things I use the weed for is I smoke it so I can calm down and hash things out in a civil manner without my brain going all over the place. My squirrels get out of their cages and it gets a little hectic. Smoking a little weed slows them down to where I can think straight and I can think rationally and get things out. I don't get all, stony birded out when I'm trying to think, but I will slow down a little bit.
I'll play this preview real quick because I think it's interesting. So
cool.
My name's Bruce Irons. Andy Irons was my brother. My brother was unorthodox, wild. You never knew what you're gonna get.
One was so sorry for everything. That he was coming home.
Andy carried all of Hawaii by himself. No one really knew exactly how much of a toll it was really going to take.
I'm Andy Irons, 27 years old, been surfing for 20 years.
One of the greatest, badass, rags to riches, rock star surfers that ever lived.
He got so good and so confident so fast.
Andy Irons is the new men's world champion.
We call him the people's champ. You know, he's winning, we're all winning.
Who's the man?
And he was wild and funny, and I liked all that.
My brother's dark side started creeping more into his everyday life.
Sometimes I'll get weird thoughts through my head, like it's a lot of thoughts, a lot of just stuff going on.
Bipolar disorder is not just a brain disorder. You can have this switch to being manic and psychotic.
And he's just looking right through me. It's all right, brother, it's all right.
Oh, I'm down here right now.
People go overboard with a lot of the drugs.
And then the pills come. That's the one that grabbed a hold of my brother.
Definitely changed him.
Like it was, yeah.
They're handing these things out at Rite Aid or CVS. How bad could they be for you?
Bipolar disorder can be associated with tremendous creativity and drawing.
Your mind is working better and faster than everybody else.
He won that contest high on coke and pills. Like no big deal.
I remember finding him on a mattress, barely alive.
There are very few of us who end up achieving greatness. So for those who do achieve that, even burdened by having bipolar disorder is extraordinary.
Andy, I think about you every single day. You were my hero. You still are.
It's a really sad story, but it talks, he ends up dying from an overdose. But it was the first show I've ever seen where it was a huge documentary about actually bipolar, and actually,
right.
She spent money on it, and it's really, really, really good. And it made me realize that, that's almost a gift. That, like he said, I have this creativity and this mindful that works differently than other people. And I very evidently see it every day. And you just have to overcome the other bad parts, and you can almost use it as a super gift, a gift
right.
from the universe.
It's a gift.
And
I've never heard that. That's amazing.
Well, I mean, my brain is more creative than other people, and I see it by the ideas that I share.
And you think differently.
And yeah, and I've become more used to that. So when I was diagnosed with bipolar, I was kind of ashamed, and I was like, I have to live with this label. But then I started to be a little more proud of it, because I think that people with bipolar have very special skills. They're very creative, and they just have a lot of empathy. So they have to overcome that, and because you have a lot of empathy, and you can just sense darkness a lot in the world, and it kind of eats you up.
It can get to you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and a lot of people don't know about that, because surfing wasn't really big back then, and it is really big now. Apparently, like, the payouts are huge. I didn't even know that you can earn, $20 million a year surfing. Are you still on mute, Rhino? I think you are.
Yeah, damn it.
Oh,
I said,
Jeremy.
Josh had mentioned something about perfection.
You knew Andy? Did you see that? Jeremy
brings...
Phelps knew Andy.
Yeah,
you personally knew Andy?
Jeremy was a big surfer. That's where he had his accident.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But that perfectionism, mental health can bring in different ones, like the bipolar, and ADHD is also another one that gives you superpowers, and that's what, I'm like, that's what I'm learning on my journey. It's trying to figure out what my superpowers are and how to use them. I'm not saying I can fly or I can see through things, but
right.
But, like Dan was talking about, the special abilities that, that I can get, somebody said empathy. Yeah,
I'm in a heightened sense of connecting with others and understanding the world, being aware, and then and then
absolutely
be really creative, which I found out the more creative you are, the more open you are, the more happy you can be. Because I notice my creativity comes and goes. Some day it's just not there, and the other day it's just like
me.
It's like a cloud level,
Okay.
and then I can just put together things so easily.
Well, I was wrapped up so many years in guilt and shame for even having mental health, because growing up when I did, we weren't supposed to have it. It was a weakness, and you're a weirdo if you did.
Yeah.
But what I learned is, to embrace it, and not let it stigmatize me, and it took me a while to do that because I was wrapped up in all that shame and stigma, but once I learned that there were special abilities and it helps me in certain ways. I thought I recovered from it better, but I didn't really deal with it the way I should have. So
we
now
get a
that's
little
all
bit of knowledge, and then we accept
I should.
ourselves better, right?
Yeah,
is that right?
I didn't hear you, Becca.
And accept, now that your brain works different, you accept that and you work with what you're giving. Working with our gifts instead of against them.
Yeah, and minimizing the bad effects like bipolar.
Exactly.
Sure.
Minimizing
the mania part, and that's where, like I said, that's why I make this medicine, so to reduce going into those mania parts. But I beat the depression. Like, what's weird is when I started using magic mushrooms, that depression went away fully. And sometimes it comes back, but I used to have like suicidal ideations all the time when I was most of my life, and now that those have gone, so that part of the bipolar is mostly gone, which is really, really good, because being depressed sucks.
It does. It so does.
Being sad is okay, but being depressed is a different level. And I feel like sadness, but I don't experience that deep depression where I want to end my life or something.
I just kind of fade out, man, and then I wake up either.
Hey, Chris, what's up, buddy?
Later, but
purple hairs in the house.
Right, Kristen. Kristen, you're funny. You're a really funny little thing.
Yeah, damn, I'm amazing. That's funny.
Yeah, when your ego is lessened and your creativity is flowing, that's when you feel the best self-love about yourself. So it all makes sense that you would think you're amazing when your creativity is flowing, because when you can shut up your ego, that's when you can really navigate your brain well.
Right.
I had an old timer in AA told me one time, he said the acronym for ego is edge God out. And he says, if you're sitting there being down on yourself and you're judging God's handiwork, or judging yourself, then you're judging God's handiwork. And if you're judging God's handiwork, you're saying you know better than God. And he said, son, that's what got you here. So quit thinking that way.
Hey, Gene.
Hi, Gene.
Hi, Gene.
By the way, I forgot we had that giveaway. We got 18 entries. If anybody else wants to get in.
Hashtag green.
Oh, I forgot now. Blocking it right there. It's
green leaf purple.
It's going to be a half cup of some cannabis coconut oil, have 400 milligrams of THC that you'll be able to add to any recipe, or you can use it as a skin cream. So if you want some of that, just enter in green leaf herbal and you'll be entered.
Hello again, Lord. What's up, buddy?
The giveaway is some infused coconut oil, 400 milligrams. Some strong stuff, and it's a really good strain. It's Ophelia strain, which in my opinion treats Alzheimer's really well because it has a whole bunch of terpene in it.
I've heard good things about that Ophelia strain.
It's terpene. So I only know about it because an Illinois grower wrote a story on it, IllinoisStoners.com. I don't know.
I read that one.
But he said that it was a special strain because it had 45% terpene in it. And it has the highest concentrated terpene out of any plant on earth. And terpene apparently at like a 5% level will get you stoned, but this has 45%. So what I've noticed with this strain is that you never get, it's the same high every time. You smoke it every day and you never get a tolerance with it. And I think that's because of the amount of terpene in it.
Terpene.
Because I've given it to other people too, and they say the same thing. They're like, man, this stuff hits every single time I smoke it. And I'm like, yeah, you don't really build a tolerance with this strain.
I have a strain, Alien OG Deadhead Kush, that a buddy of mine has, that I get clones off from time to time and grow some of it. That's the strain that that's been like that for me. That never got a tolerance to it.
Yeah. Kim, I don't think they have any science yet on what terpenes treat what things. There's a lot more research and studies that need done to see which terpenes fit stuff well. But from my own observation, this strain that has a heavy thing of terpene seems to affect Alzheimer's a lot, because I've been giving it to a lady with Alzheimer's for 3 years. They spent $10,000 at the dispensary and nothing affected them until they got a hold of this Ophelia strain, and that's when they noticed a change in her behavior. So it could be terpene. I don't know, but we need a lot more studies to figure it out.
No, not yet, Jamie. He's getting a roll here in a minute.
It's the hashtag. I'm blocking it. It's green leaf herbal. It's right on the screen there. It says giveaway tonight, can oil. And we got 23 people now in the giveaway. Nice. Don't forget to hit that like button too on the way out.
You can say that again, Josh. It's more of a science than a THC numbers.
Yeah.
Right. It's about It's about the terpenes in it that can be powerful to some people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I actually started growing in 2016, because I was so intrigued by the science of it. And then I had a little program called Green Leaf Compassion Coalition where I was giving out free cannabis, but people had to tell me what it did to their body, and I had this form they filled out, how it affected their body. So I learned a lot there too. It's just studying the different people, because I had some people who took it for cancer, some people who had some other issues, and so I've been growing this Ophelia strain for a long time. It's called Ophelia. It's called OPHELYA.
YA.
And if you Google search it, it should pop up a story about it written by an Illinois grower group. But how it helps, I don't know yet. That's the science part that we need a lot of research on. But I think, as I explained, I think it was the heavy presence of the terpene that seems to make this stuff a lot different kind of oil. A different kind of strain, I should say, a more unique strain.
But the strain is the Ophelia strain.
You'll have to look that up and read about it.
This stuff, I tested it, and it tests between 19 and 24%, this Ophelia strain, when I usually get it tested.
Nice.
I had it tested once at 24%, but it usually is at about 21%. But yeah, I think we'll do this giveaway now. I think I'm in here.
All right.
24 entries. I gotta bring that up on the screen, don't I? Bring that. There we go. Ophelia.
Good luck, everybody. Good luck.
I think it's instead of a Y, it's an E. OPHELYA. I think it's just like Ophelia, the name. Except you don't really see Ophelia, people's name named Ophelia that often.
No.
But I think I have once in my life.
It was a character in Hamlet.
Yeah.
It's a really older name. Kind of like Agnes. I never see that name anymore, but that was my grandma's name. Agnes.
No,
it's OPHELIA. Yeah, IA. The end. Kim. All right, I think everybody's in here now. We'll hit the giveaway. Let's do a draw here. Thank you, bye.
Right.
Nice to see a new winner. I didn't want Joe Kelly to win it again. I saw Joe Kelly's name up there, and I'm like, Joe really going to win again. I'm going to have giveaways tomorrow night, and I guarantee Joe's going to win one of them. I'm calling it right now. That Joe wins one of those packages tomorrow night.
Congratulations, Vicky.
Right on.
Yeah, congrats, Vicky.
Make you some cookies or some chocolate or brownies.
Yeah, just contact me with your information, and I'll get that. I'll get that definitely shipped out before I go on vacation because I want to get all that taken care of. So I'll ship it out tomorrow.
Good
Yeah,
deal.
Jimmy said that. Jimmy, that dude wins every game, but he does join a lot of people's podcasts. Joe Kelly is definitely a good.
Yeah,
he's definitely
big supporter. Yeah,
big supporter of a lot of us.
There's a few of them out there that win a lot, and it's
and they deserve it. Joe,
I just wish I had a quarter of their luck. More power to them.
Well done, Miss Vicky. Well, fellas, thank you for having me and letting me hang out with y'all. I'm going to get off of here and wander around.
Thanks for joining me and giving us your. Let me bring that other screen where I can see everybody. There you go. Thanks for bringing your intelligent and your perspective is very useful to us in the show. So, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Y'all take care. I'll see you around.
Yeah, we'll see you later.
I'll see you tomorrow.
But yeah, we're 2 hours and 5 minutes, and we're going into Whalen Show again. So maybe we should maybe I'll move it up to 6:15 so I don't do that anymore. So because the later we get, the more viewers that come in.
Yeah, I noticed that.
7:15, 7:30, we'd like doubled in viewers.
Huh. I can't see a number on mine. I'm not on the Facebook one. If
Oh,
I put my Facebook.
Yeah, we got 19 people watching right now. We had 22 at one point. We got 20 right now on Facebook. And then over on the Rumble, we got 5 people watching over there. Oh. I gotta remove this brand. There we go.
Yeah, I'll have to check into that Rumble.
Yeah, it's helpful. It gets you a little bit more people, but none of them ever talk, and I don't know if they're real, but it gets you more views. It gets you out there, and there are a few people who came over from Rumble onto Facebook, so there are a few people that are.
All right, cool.
But we'll probably call this show good. It was a great conversation. We talked a lot about fear, and hopefully, learned a lot about something. So.
Absolutely.
Thank you for anybody who stayed in the comments. We had a lot of really good conversations, so I appreciate it.
Yeah, input's always good, guys, and thanks for sharing your experiences. It's safe here and stays here.
Right. And again, tomorrow night we're going to have a 40th birthday bash giveaway. It's my 40th birthday Wednesday, and I'm not going to have a Thursday show because I'm going on vacation. So before I leave, we're going to have a giveaway tomorrow at 6:30. Join me. I'm going to have a whole bunch of prizes. And I'm also celebrating my 15th year in business as construction. So I'll be giving away some tools too.
Oh, awesome.
I didn't do that earlier. May was my 15th anniversary, and I was too busy in May, and I never got to it.
Right.
So what better way than my 40th birthday? We'll give away some stuff for that too.
Well, by trade, I'm a welder. I was a welder for 13 years.
Nice. Well, maybe if I can get my Facebook page live on my Baird Construction. I was having issues with that, but I'll figure it out.
Cool.
But yeah, thank you everybody for joining me. And you'll see us next Monday with Mental Health and Mental Health Monday.
Amen.
Let's see what I was going to talk about. I have my schedule here. Sometimes I forget. And we were going to go into PTSD.
Monday?
Yeah, next Monday we're going to talk about PTSD, and that'll definitely be an interesting show. So I think fear. So that's why I did fear first, because fear definitely plays a lot into PTSD.
Sure.
And that mobilized that fear where you can't even do anything because you're so mobilized with it.
Yeah, paralyzation, man. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see you then next Monday then.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you for joining me, Rhino. We'll see you guys later.
You betcha.
Good night.